right, so what's up guys? It's Jason Jani from the SE Event Group and Direct Music Service, and today I'm pumped to talk to you about an enhancement that has been taking over the private and social event space by storm over the past year. We're going to be talking about the Sparkulars, an indoor cold spark fountain feature that can take your event to a whole nother level. All right, so real talk, what makes these units so cool that you need to have them for your event? Well, they're safe to operate. They do a lot of really cool things, and they are super impressionable. They can take a crescendo, a milestone moment, or an impact moment to a whole nother level. What makes these units incredibly cool is one, they're safe for indoor use. They burn at 62 degrees, and they're safe to touch. These units produce a cold spark that burn at 62 degrees using a magnesium and titanium granular powder that's loaded into each individual unit. Now, this is important because a traditional spark pyrotechnic feature burns at roughly 1200 plus degrees. These burn at 62 degrees, so they're not gonna light anything on fire. These units are completely controllable and scalable, and that's awesome. They are operated by a technician that's using a controller that is sold with the units. The controller allows the operator to tell the units how high they'd like the sparks to go, the duration, the length of time that they will be producing the spark, and of course, the pattern for which the sparks will be going off in. Now, the setup time for these units at an event could take anywhere from a couple of minutes to over an hour, depending on how familiar you are with the units and of course how many you are laying out and the conditions of the event or the venue that you're working at. Now, in addition to the cool factor that these things bring to the table for your events, from a business perspective, they allow you to increase the bottom line at your events. A typical rental for these units goes anywhere on a national level between $1,000 and $2,000 for one event. So here's some cons to owning these units and things you need to consider before you invest money in buying them. Now, one, you just can't go anywhere and buy them. You have to buy them online. They go through an entire certification process, and it usually takes a little bit of time. When I ordered all 12 of these, it took a little bit over a month to get once I paid for them. Two, you just can't use these without connecting with your local fire officials because these units could be classified as a pyrotechnic. You might need to check in with your local fire department to make sure that you don't need additional permits to use them at an event or an occasion. If that's not all, most general liability insurance policies used by mobile DJs will not cover this technology as an offering. Now, earlier we talked about controlling these units, and they are operated by a trained technician. Now, each and every technician has to undergo a training program that is provided by the Sparkular company. The good thing is that the training is web-based. The bad thing is it takes 2 to 3 hours to complete, and at the completion of the course, you have to take a test in order to get your certificate to operate these at an event. All right, now we talk about costs, and there is an investment required to own these units. Each individual box costs about $2,500 to own. In addition to the actual boxes, you need a controller, and it comes in a super cool case, but this too costs about $2,500. That's not it. Once you have your controller and you have the boxes, you need to think about the consumables that are used in order to generate the spark. Now, this is how they sell the granulars, the aluminum titanium mix that goes in the unit that creates the cold spark. Now, every 10 to 15 minutes, they need to be refilled. Each box needs to be refilled. You refill it with a powder that's placed in the top hole, and that's how you refill it. Each packet is tied to an RFID card that needs to be scanned to restart the time allowance on each unit. That unit interacts with the controller, and again, this is just something you need to think about because each one of these packets costs $100. All right, everyone, hopefully this gave you the information you need to either invest or not invest in this technology. My name is Jason Jani, and on behalf of Team DMS, I'd like to thank you for watching The Formula featuring the Sparkular units by Chauvin. To get information on DMS, the Sparkular units, or myself, check the description field below.